Hi. Okay, I'm going to talk about when I was 12 or 13, and my friend John, he gave me permission to use his name. He was in this story a lot, and at that time, my boyfriend was, I'm going to call him Rusty because I didn't ask him if I could use his name. And then Danny was usually there, who is deceased. Danny died very young. He was only about 40 when he passed, but he was usually there with us. And then my friend Becky and Sherry were often there. So they may or may not have been here during this thing. But we were walking home one day in the dark down the back street, and there was UFO sightings on the news lately. So we were talking about that, and there was a lot of stars out that night, and we're looking up at the sky and all that. And then we kind of stopped and said, let's just look around and see if we could see something. And believe it or not, we spotted this thing in the sky. And it was a light that was just standing still. It was like as far up as a jet plane, but it was not moving. It was just standing still in the sky, and it was blinking colors like blue, green, yellow, red, blinking. And we all just stopped and we're looking at it. And, all of us said no one had ever seen anything like that before. Definitely wasn't a plane because it was standing perfectly still. Um, I've never seen anything like it since. And as we're all staring at it and talking about it, what the heck, that has to be a UFO, because what else could it be? I mean, that's just so strange the way it's just standing there. And then all of a sudden, something dropped out of it. It was another light fell out of it, a very bright, just a white light, um, brighter than the colored light. I'm thinking now, from what I've seen and heard about UFOs, like that was a mothership dropped out this little thing closer to Earth, right? Well, this thing dropped out, and then the colored lights shot in an instant, shot way across the sky like a shooting star. Never seen anything like that since. I've seen shooting stars. It was just like a shooting star, but it went way across the sky before it disappeared. So fast. And the other light that dropped down disappeared also. So that was my first UFO sighting. I had another one about years later, and I will tell you that when I get to that time period, because I'm trying to keep in, some kind of chronological order here as much as possible. Flipping back and forth between then and now, but as far as my growing up goes, I'm trying to keep in order. So then Becky got a Ouija board. Also, let me say this, right around this time that I told you I was going to church, like from the time I was like 4 years old, 3 years old. And at age 12 in the Methodist church, they want you to get confirmed. You get baptized when you're a baby, you get confirmed when you're age 12, you become a member of the church, right? Well, I wasn't baptized. I was baptized in Japan in the Shinto temple shrine. But they wanted me to be confirmed with the rest of the kids. And my dad happened to be home at that time on leave. It must have been, his vacation time. And he didn't let me. He didn't want me to get confirmed. He didn't want me to join the Methodist church or any church. He said, you're not joining any church. Churches, all they want is your money. My dad was an agnostic, and so I listened to my dad, right? I mean, if my mom told me not to do it, maybe I would have done it anyway, but I listened to my dad, and I didn't. Then I just stopped going to church. I felt like, well, I can't get confirmed and move on like the rest of the kids, my age, and I just felt like I didn't belong there. So I stopped going. And it was really when I needed it the most. I mean, thank God that I was in church as long as I was then, because that's what helped me keep on on the good path as best as I was on it. If there was no church in my life, who knows at that point in time, I don't know what I would have been doing. But um, a lot of my friends not a lot, I shouldn't say a lot, just a couple of my friends were starting to shoplift at that time. Um, I think that's what kept me away from that kind of stuff. But also, I didn't need to because, my mom, if I wanted money to go shopping, she'd give me a 20. But other kids didn't get money so easily, I guess, and they would steal things, especially things like lipstick, earrings, candy bars, little stuff like that. Um, I don't know if they did it because they didn't have any spending money or because they just got a thrill out of it. I don't know, but I was there lots of times and, I didn't participate. One time I stole a chunky. Remember chunky candy bars? I stole a chunky once and I felt so guilty about it that I never stole another thing in my life after that. But I was there when my other girlfriends would do that and I might have even been a lookout, but I didn't like to do that. But that's the kind of things that church helped me keep me away from because I just knew it was wrong, and I didn't need to anyway. I had everything I needed. My mom bought things for me when I needed or wanted things, so it was good. But anyway, that was off. But so the Ouija board, we were messing around with that. Um, and it was just like a stupid game. Nothing, it didn't work, anything. You're supposed to put your fingers on it. There's letters and numbers. There's a yes, no spot. And you're supposed to put your fingers on this plastic heart-shaped thing and ask it a question and it will slide around the board and give you the answers that you're looking for. Well, it never slid around the board and nobody it didn't work for all these different friends, including me, until me and John got on that thing together. Now, me and John, we had some kind of chemistry. I don't know. Maybe we were supposed to be soulmates. Maybe we should have married. I don't know, but John and I definitely had some kind of chemistry. He's the one that I played spin the football with. Anyway, he was like my first crush, I think, really. But nothing ever happened with it. We made out one time when we were 11 years old, and nothing ever happened. We never became boyfriend and girlfriend or anything. And I started going with Rusty, I'll call him. He was my boyfriend at the time. Anyway, John and I were good friends. And we put our fingers together on that little plastic thing, and we concentrated on whatever question we were asking it. That thing started moving around for us. It only worked when me and John did it together. And it just started flying around the board with our fingers on top of it lightly. Our fingers are resting lightly on top of that thing. And it just started zipping around the board, giving us answers to our questions. We asked him questions that we could verify, like somebody's phone number that we could look up in the phone book, address that we could look up in the phone book, and they came out right. We asked for the daily double numbers. We lived right by the racetrack, Monmouth Park, thoroughbred racing. Pick the daily double. Crazy stuff. I remember asking it who would be my next boyfriend, and initials came up. And that came true a couple years later. And it was funny because there was a boy with us at that day, and they were his initials, and we were all laughing about that. That didn't happen, but another guy with those same initials I ended up with a few years later. Eerie, strange stuff. So, then right around that time, John's cousin died in a car accident. He was a little older. I think he was about 17 or something like that. And he died. Of course, John was very sad and upset about it and told us about it. And my grandma had told me about a seance that she went to once. She told me that everybody put their hands up on the table and they tried to contact this person who had recently died. And she said that that table flew straight up to the ceiling with everybody's hands glued to the table. It flew up to the ceiling. And that's all I remembered. But, I told them about that. And because my grandma told me, I believed it. So we tried to contact John's cousin. It was nighttime at my house, and turned the light out, the kitchen light, and we were all quiet, and there was four of us, put our hands up on the table and touching our fingers to each other. So we were all connected with our fingers, and were very serious. And we all just said, let's just concentrate on John's cousin, trying to get in touch with him, right? So we were all there in silence, and it was just like we were praying. At least for me, it was like I was praying, only I wasn't praying to God the Father. I was just praying into the air to contact a dead person, And we did that all very seriously, and after a couple minutes, that table started shaking violently and scared the crap out of us. We just all jumped up, and whoa, like, what just happened? And I mean, we were shaken. And then we said, oh, thought somebody shook the table with their knees, right? So we all sat down again. Now, this was a heavy wooden table. And we all sat down again, and we all tried to shake that table with our knees. And even if all four of us at the same time were trying to lift that table, we could not budge that table. It was too heavy. We couldn't do it with our knees sitting down. No way. So we definitely made contact with the spirit world. I have no doubt about that. From my Bible knowledge now, I know what that's all about. I know that there is a spirit world, a supernatural world out there. I could give you scriptures. I don't know if you want those. But I know that the Bible warns us about, there's good spirits and there's evil spirits. And warns us to stay away from such things. Warns us to stay away from trying to contact dead people, channeling, all that kind of stuff. Ouija boards, soothsayers, that's what they call it in the Bible, kind of. But mediums, all those things. Bible warns us. The Bible does not say they're fake. It does not say there's no power in it. Now, sometimes they're fake, I'm sure of that. But, the Bible warns us there is another power out there. But it's not the one that we should have faith in. Don't go by that. Don't trust them. They can tell you things that might happen, things that will be real, but they're not the ones for you to put your faith in, because God is more powerful. And those are the fallen angels that became demons, that have all this power. They didn't lose their powers that they had since before they were fallen in heaven, but they use them for evil purposes now, which is just to draw you away from God the Father, God of the Bible, the real true God. It's all just a deception to draw you away, to show you another power which is very real. But if you're on the side of the right power, you already won the battle because that was done at the cross. That's what I believe, and I can give you scriptures. I won't do it right now, but maybe in the future. And I don't want to get preachy, but it's all part of my story. And all I can say is from that moment on, I really believe that because it's like I prayed to the wrong spirit. I didn't pray with the Holy Spirit to God the Father. I prayed with my own spirit, trying to contact the dead, and another spirit answered the prayers. Um, so that was, I truly believe that was the beginning of, because I opened my inner self, whatever you want to call it, I opened myself up to these wrong spirits. And at that same time, it happened to be the same time that I stopped going to church, and I really became very open. And a lot of bad shit started happening to me, really, from that moment on. And that's what's coming up. So thank you for listening, and God bless. See you next time.